Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, okay? We've got a little bit of a sequel for you today. The last video that I created, I shared a Google Doc that made me $45,000 in 11 days, all right? If you want to check that one out, I'll put a link up here. I'll put a link in the description, or you can head over to the channel and you'll find the video there. It's very clearly marked, okay? Now, in that video, I said that not everyone is going to be able to immediately whip out Google Docs, start typing, and produce something that's going to make, just under 50 grand in less than 2 weeks, right? It's just not the reality. You need a few things in place. Why I wanted to share that with you, though, was to show you what's possible if you build a really strong brand and you make a killer offer. In order to kind of round out the circle there, what I wanted to share with you today is 6 really, really simple Facebook post templates, right? Because we sell a lot over on Facebook with Facebook organic marketing. 6 templates, and there's more you can use, and you can twist and contort these however you want. Templates that you can use to build that goodwill, build credibility, build trust, all that kind of stuff that you need in order to be able to sell stuff. The one way to think about it is the more value that you put into your audience, the more time you put into them, the more credibility that you build, that's like building up a bank balance. Then when you make an offer, it's kind of like making a withdrawal from it. You need both elements. You could consider this video part 2 to that one that I did about the Google Doc, and this will help you with building up trust and goodwill with your audience. Before we jump into this one, if you haven't already, be sure to give the video a like if you get value from it. Really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel, smash the bell icon so you get notified whenever I drop a new video, all that kind of good stuff. We'll quickly roll the intro, and then we're gonna pull up the computer and we're gonna walk through each of these templates. Let's do it. Alrighty, so we've got this pulled up here. This is actually something that I share with some of my private clients, and it's one of the modes that we use with our content. All right, one of the concepts I talk about a lot is having different content modes depending on what you've got going on in your business, right? So recently, I've been in heavy building mode. I've been building out my inner circle. I've been building out the 2.0 version of the Super Affiliate Accelerator program that I run, which has meant that I haven't had a time to put out a lot of offers into the marketplace. It's just the mode that I'm in right now, and when I'm in that mode, I don't want to completely neglect my audience. So what I do is I go into what I call nurturing or goodwill building mode, and I'll use a mixture of these posts, okay? So we've got 6 to walk you through, and I'm gonna pull up each of them so that you can see a real life example. So the first one is a wins post, okay? Now this is something you can post a couple of times a week. I wanna give credit to Luke Guy for sharing this framework with me. I've done a bit of work with him. He's a good bloke, and he really opened my eyes to the power of a simple post like this. Really all it is just sharing some wins that you've had throughout the week. And what this is doing is a couple of things. It's sharing with people what you do. It's sharing with people how you help people. It's building credibility because you're like, we're getting stuff done. It's just a really strong brand builder because you're not just talking theory and fluff like so many people online. You're talking about actual stuff that you are in the trenches doing day in and day out. The psychology behind this, which is where Luke really opened my eyes to it, is people are really attracted to other people who are winning, people who are kicking goals, people who are getting shit done. And sharing posts like this, where you're talking about the stuff that you are doing and the cool stuff that's happening, that's really magnetic. Okay, so you can see an example of it here. It's that time of the week, folks, Wednesday wins. So I might post these midweek and then towards the end of the week or over the weekend. We had a brand new affiliate and now an Inner Circle member, Brian Patrick, smash out 2 high ticket sales. We had a 10K day in my business. I got 2 shout outs for my podcasts. I managed to get 8 hours sleep. So they don't have to be just like raw financial wins. They can be anything, right? That is a win for me, getting 8 hours sleep. I talked to another potential client about coming on board with an agency that I run on the side. I helped an Inner Circle member do this. We made huge strides in SAA 2.0. We're now approaching 600K in commissions. So this is just talking about the cool stuff that's happened week to week. And this is a really great way to nurture your audience because they're seeing all of this stuff that's happening and they're seeing the potential of if they align with you as a leader within your audience, okay? So that's a framework that you can check out, right? And then typically I'll put some kind of final thoughts down the bottom. Thoughts for the week so far. Don't only measure your progress in extra dollars in the bank each day or at the end of the week, especially early on. Reflect on what you've done, learned, changed, and put in place that can pay dividends in the coming months and years, right? If sales aren't dropping, step back. So it's just a little bit of advice at the end of it. Those posts serve a couple of purposes. 1, they're really easy for me to write. 2, people love them, and it keeps that nurturing effect of the audience while I'm busy doing other things. And 3, it helps keep you in a really positive mindset, right? Now, if you've watched much of my stuff, you know I'm not particularly woo-woo when it comes to all this stuff, but there is a lot to be said for staying in a really, really positive and elevated mindset. It's going to help you execute a lot more. You're going to have a lot more fun and you're going to get a lot more done, okay? So that's one that I really, really enjoy doing and is super, super easy to lean on. That's just a simple wins post. And I can put the link to this document below so that you can check it out. This next one is what I call an ecosystem builder. All right, now you're only going to be able to do this if you're kind of uploading on different platforms, or you could use it to deliver a lead magnet and put some value into your audience's hands that way. And really all it is you're just giving something out for free, right? So this is where I gave out an offer framework. I think I might have linked it to a YouTube video from memory. Yeah, so this was linking over to a YouTube video. You could do it as a PDF, you could do a Google Doc, you could do a podcast, right? These are really, really flexible post structure, but it's just giving something away for free in order to help your audience out with something that's relevant to what you do. That one's really, really easy to write and can be good for lead generation. If you push people over to a conversation from there, you can push people into a funnel, collect emails. Super flexible, takes about 3.5 seconds to write, and then you just let some comments build up and go through and reply to them. And people will really appreciate the value that you're providing in the content that you give them. Okay, so that's the second one, what I call an ecosystem builder, because you can move people around your ecosystem to a YouTube video, to a podcast, to a document, to a group, wherever you are. Get creative with that one. The next one you got here is what I call an opinion piece, all right? Now, again, very, very flexible style of content. This is just where you're sharing your opinion, your view on something. So this one example here, I was talking about how there's a lot of stuff happening on Facebook where people are kind of beating their chest. They're talking about hot air stuff that they've not done. And so one thing I always try and do is look at what other people are doing and do the opposite. So I share a lot of real world stuff, right? Like those wins posts we just shared. So I'm just sharing my opinion on stuff that I'm seeing happening in my space. And if you have a pulse on the market that you're competing in, which you should, and you're talking to people all the time, your customers, prospects, you're going to get a feel for what's going on. So start sharing your opinion, right? You can write it really, really quickly. You could share a story from something that happened. You could share a story from something you read, an experience with a client, an experience with a prospect, and just share your opinion, okay? If you have some pretty controversial opinions, if you will, what's going to happen is you're going to start to attract more people who think the same way as you, and you're going to start to repel people who disagree with you, and they may arc up and kind of get a bit engaged as well. So it's quite a powerful audience building method in that regard. You're going to draw those people in closer who are similar to you, and you're going to push away the ones who aren't, right? Like with this post, if there's people out there who are talking about stuff that they've not done and they read it, they're going to start to feel a bit uneasy because, it's kind of bringing light to the thing that they know they probably shouldn't be doing. So that's another one, just your opinion on stuff that's relevant to your audience that you can write up really, really quickly. And typically for me, this will be prompted from stuff that I've seen, stuff that's happened, stories, interactions. I try and let as much of my content come from within the business as possible. And what I mean by that is letting actual things that are happening fuel the content, so I don't have to run a business here and then step into another role to come up with all of these different creative content ideas. I let the business create the content, and that's a hell of a lot easier and it's a lot more powerful. The next one we've got here is talking about what you do, right? Now this isn't one you're going to want to use all the time, but it's a good reminder. And this is me talking about, online and offline. People ask me a lot about what I do. So here's what I got for you, right? I help people take what they know, what they're good at, or have a burning passion for, and monetize it with information products, or they can run events, or they can do coaching or consulting or whatever, right? There's 1,000 ways you can kind of split it up, but that's what I help them do based on the stuff that they know. Or they could promote other people's products as an affiliate. We're quite flexible in that regard because that's the stuff that I've been able to do. And that's really the entrepreneur's path, right? It's like, what have you done? What problems have you overcome? What have you achieved? And then how can you package that up as a transaction so that someone gets value and you get paid for it, right? That's the way this game works. And I'm just talking about it, right? I believe this. I help folks with this. I encourage people to do this. I don't like this. I love this. I believe this, right? Just reminding people who you are. Again, super quick post. And I can put this one in a template, and I can drop this once every 6 weeks, once every 2 months, tweak it a little bit if there's any stuff that I want to change. But it's just a reminder to your audience of who you are, what you do, who you help, what you believe in, what you don't believe in, what you stand for, all of that kind of good stuff, okay? So that one is our who am I type post. The fifth one, second last one we've got for you here, this is just raw value. It's an overused word, but it is what it is. Raw value or demonstration, right? So you can just talk to people about stuff that's helpful, right? Like recording a video, but do it live, or you can do it through a written post on Facebook as well. Doesn't really matter. It's just providing helpful stuff. I like going live because it's quick. I can just hit record and I can talk, but I also do written posts if I don't have the time to go live as well, because I can do that quite quickly. And it's just simply providing helpful stuff that's relevant to your audience, right? If you're not sure on how to provide value, which sounds crazy, but just think about, okay, where do I ultimately want to help my audience move to, right? Typically, if you're in any market, you've got your prospects are here, they ultimately want to get here, and you've got some products and services that sit in the middle, and that's how you bridge them from one to the other, right? So if you want to think about your value, how I would recommend thinking about it is, what are 3 to 5 core pillars that sit between where they are now and where they want to get to, and build your value-based content around that. Typically, my value-based content is around either mindset, offer creation, conversion strategies, sales funnels, how to sell on the phone, how to sell on Messenger, and audience building, right? Content. Group building on Facebook, profile building on Facebook, all that kind of stuff that's going to get attention. They're the 4 pillars that people really need to understand to go from A to B in the stuff that we do. So that's where I build my value content around. Right? So just look at your business, look at how you help people, look at those core pillars in between, and you can extract your value-based content from there. You can go live, you can write it up in a post, and just do it. Don't expect anything in return. Just put something helpful out into the marketplace based on your real world experiences, and people will get a lot from it. And then the final one that we've got here, so if I just scroll down to the very, very last one, this is one that I like to do, and frequency of it depends on how busy I am. But monthly or quarterly, you can even do weekly. We kind of cover that in the wins, but just recaps, right? Again, similar to the wins thread, but it's just real world stuff that's happened. So this was I did this in March for the start of the year. It was a long post that I wrote just talking about cool stuff that had happened, you know, and then I included a bunch of photos, right? Like we got our 2 Comma Club award, I rolled out a program, I rolled out another program, got to catch up with Jamie, you know, we made some money, and I just shared photos. So it's letting people in on the journey, and just recapping a month, recapping a quarter, recapping a year. But if you use those 6 posts consistently, you will build pretty strong trust and rapport, because you're letting people into your world. You're letting them know what's going on, and you're providing value in the process. You're sharing your opinion, so you're bringing people in who are closer to your kind of way of thinking and pushing away people who don't think that way. If you use these in conjunction with crafting a killer offer like we spoke about in the last video, the sales process becomes a lot easier, right? The sales process becomes a lot simpler, and I've got other videos on my channel about how to bridge those two and how to sell. But I wanted to include this video because in the last one that I did, I specifically called out the fact that in order to be able to do something like that, you have to have a brand that has provided value and built up goodwill with your audience over a period of time. Okay, so here's some content frameworks that you can go and use in order to do that, all right? And just remember, content is a cumulative game. You're not going to be able to make each of these posts once and then go, why haven't I built up all of this trust and goodwill immediately? You've got to be doing this consistently. I've been posting in my Facebook group since 2018. That's how you build up trust and goodwill, is by being consistent and showing up every day for months and months and months and years and years and years and years. That doesn't mean you have to wait until years into the process in order to monetize. It just means that if you want to be able to keep monetizing, you've got to keep showing up for them. Okay, so have a think about this. Have a think about how you could implement these frameworks into your business. I'll put the link to this document in the description so you can check it out, and that'll have the links over to the groups. You can request to join the group if you aren't a member in there. Other than that, give these ones a go. Great to use if you're busy doing other things and you want to keep stoking the fire with your audience. If you're building offers, if you're building funnels, you're busy doing other things but you don't want to neglect your audience, these are some great frameworks that you can implement quickly. Okay, so hopefully you got something out of that one. Smash the like if you did. Helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Head over to jacobcaris.com. Join the group. Do all that kind of good stuff. And I'll see you all in the next one. Have a fantastic day. Cheers.